Hey everyone, happy Monday. I hope you guys are having a great day so far. I know most of you are ending school soon, so today might be your last Monday, or you might have another week or so. But congratulations to anyone who's finished school recently and who is getting off of school soon. So work hard, grind out the last few weeks or whatever, and finish school, and then you can play RuneScape all you want. And that will lead me into today's topic of really bad school teachers. And it's story time again, because last story time you guys were all like, yeah, story time is great, I love when you say stories. I was laughing the entire time. So I thought I'd bring you another story. I don't know if it's funny or not, but it's a story from my life, so I might as well just tell you because you guys seem to be interested. So I'm going to go into that in a second, but right now I'm fishing sharks with my bare hands at Catherby for no reason. I guess just because I can. I actually want a big shark because, you know, I want all of the monster heads from Slayer and like the basilisk, the KBD. I already have the KBD and the crawling hand, but I want all the other ones. And big shark would look pretty cool with that too. So I've been trying to catch a big shark, and this is just something that I've been doing in the spare time while I'm either AFKing or making a video. So I might as well just be fishing sharks right now, as you see. So this is probably what's going to be going on for the most part in the background. But anyways, let's get into the topic of the story, and the story is my worst teacher experience and why. And I actually have a lot of good topics. You guys sent in actually a lot of topics from Twitter or comments, and one of the topics was the craziest party I've ever been to. Another topic was how'd you get your cell phone, because a young kid messaged me and said, I've been trying to get a cell phone and my parents won't let me get one, how did you get one? So I thought that was a really good topic as well. So I probably will cover all of these throughout, you know, the Mondays that I'm given. But right now I thought that this would be good since school's ending soon, and I talk about my worst teacher experience. And let's get it started. So my worst teacher experience, I'm not going to say her full name, but her name was Mrs. G, and she was my 7th grade English teacher. Now, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. She's my 7th grade English teacher, and she hated me. Now, she apparently was a nice teacher. I wouldn't tell because she hated me, like I said. So anyway, going into this is, as a student from kindergarten to, I guess, 7th grade, I was a troublemaker. Not really a troublemaker. I didn't really, like, you know, I didn't pull down my pants and pee on people and shit like that. But I was very talkative, as you could say. So I like to conversate. I like to just join in conversation or butt in. I was a very nosy kid. I like to just get in the butt of all conversations, or, you know, make sure I knew what was going on. So in this class particularly, I had a lot of friends. I actually have my best friend who plays RuneScape, MNIS. He was in my class. He was a witness to all of this madness. But this teacher just absolutely hated me, and me and MNIS would sit next to each other all the time, and we had a few other friends in the class, and we would all sit next to each other in a row, because the way our classroom was set up was there's 4 seats, and then like in a row, then there's 4 seats in a row in front of that, then to the next side, like there's little gaps in between. There's 3 sections, and there was 2 rows of 4 seats. So it was 4 seats, then over to the middle, 4 seats, then over to the right, 4 seats. So we were in the back left corner, I guess, and it would just be us 4, and we would always talk. Now, like I said, I was always a talkative kid. On my progress reports and whatnot, I would always get talkative in class, or disruptive behavior in class, and it was just because I'm talkative. I like to conversate and be friendly. So I would always have that title branded to me, and I guess it got note off to the middle school or permanent record nonsense that I was a talkative kid. So in my English class with this Mrs. G, she really caught on to it quick that we were talkative and that we were all a group of friends sitting at 4. So originally she split us up, and what happened is she thought one of our friends was the problem, so she moved him, and I was still next to MNIS, and we would talk all the time. And then she realized it was just me and him, so we had a problem, and she really didn't like me. Now this teacher was a wacko. First of all, she had like, I don't know, it was a 7th grade English class, okay, but she brought in like a puppet show. Now, when you're a 7th grader, you don't give a crap about a puppet show. Like, she had a puppet show, like, presentation. We went on some stupid-ass field trip. We read stupid books, like the, I don't know what that book was called, with the kid who was blinded by the sun, and he's on the raft with the black guy. I couldn't even tell you the name of it, because I just hated this teacher so much that she just stopped me from actually wanting to learn English. And I actually hated English for the longest time until I actually found a really good teacher in 11th grade who really made me like English and grammar and, you know, speaking and stuff like that. So this teacher just really just made me hate English even more, and she just binded me in with this like terrible time. Anyways, she was a wacko, and she really didn't listen at all. She was more of the person who just kind of blamed someone and moved them or did something or did some action. So I was getting several calls home every day or every week about, you know, my talkative and disrupting the class. And my parents were kind of sick of it after a while, because I definitely talk and stuff, but I'm not that bad to the point where, you know, you have to call my house every week and tell my parents that I'm talkative and disrupting the class. I mean, just kick me out of class then. Just don't call my parents every week. They don't even want to be burdened by that, let alone do I. So anyway, Mrs. G would always try to move around the arrangement of seats, and no matter where I went, I would talk with someone. And that's probably not the greatest thing. I guess that's not a great trait when you're a little kid, but I would just get moved around a lot, and I had fun with it. I mean, I was just talking. I wasn't trying to disrupt her class, obviously. I was just a 7th grader. I was talking to my friends, like, leave me alone. So anyway, there was this one time where she embarrassed me completely. And first of all, we had this system, because she set it up after she found out me and M&IS sitting together was the wrongest thing in the world. Once she found out that it was that bad, she moved us every now and then. Like, we would sit in our original seats, but if we acted up, we would take turns on moving to a different side of the classroom. Now, this was totally an unfair approach at this, because every time we would talk, either if it was him talking to me or me talking to him, hold on, we got that person right here. Thank you, man. You too. Like to respond to everyone, as you guys all know. So, sorry about that. But anyways, like I said, she had a system that if we were talking to each other, she would move one of us to another side of the room. Like, we would get to sit next to each other until we were proven guilty, I guess, and then one of us would move, and then the next day the other one would move and whatnot. So we had this system, and I'll tell you once that M&IS was never moved in this system. And she literally would tell us, you know, like, who was the last person there? And she's like, oh, it was Anthony, so Lee, you go. And I was like, oh, come on, but it was him. And even, like, he would just sit there and laugh, because I would literally just get moved every time, and he just knew, like, if he just said hey to me, she would go, Lee, stop talking, move out of the thing, Anthony was last. And I was like, no, it wasn't. And she's like, no, I don't care what you say, you know, you go move. So I was always constantly moved, and she kept saying this phrase, and I actually made, like, I guess, not a meme of it, but we had those, you know, those Internet Sam, you know, the Microsoft Sam, the voices. We had like, a translator girl, I guess, and it was like I forget what it said. It was a program on the computer, and we just typed in this phrase, and it was, I'm sorry, Lee, you're a good student, but I'm going to have to move you. And she always said that every time I was getting moved. She's like, Lee, I'm sorry, you're a great student, but I'm going to have to move you. Because I didn't get bad grades, it was just the fact that I was talkative. And I heard that phrase probably 150 times the whole year, and it was just like this phrase that just stuck with me all the time, and I literally just put it into like a generator, and I recorded it on my phone. I would play it like before she would like get like me in trouble. Before she moved me, I would just play it on my phone and be like, I'm sorry, Lee, you're a great student, and my friends would just laugh because I didn't, you know, she didn't even have to say it, I had it recorded. So anyways, that system was so flawed, because I would always move, and it was just unfair, but he would just laugh. I mean, I guess it's funny now, but back then you were like, come on, I don't want to move. I wasn't even the one talking. Like, if you would just whisper to me, I would get, you know, told on, and I would get, you know, moved to across the classroom, and it was just, I hated it. So anyway, the worst time she ever embarrassed me is I just had a phone. I got my first phone when I was in, I guess, the beginning of 7th grade, and, you know, I'll tell that story later on, but it was the beginning of 7th grade, and I just had this new phone, and obviously, I didn't have many friends, so I just had the people's names programmed, you know, my mom, my dad, my house phone, and a few friends that were lucky enough to have cell phones, but I probably had their house phones, not their cell phones, because at that age, we were just starting to get cell phones instead of, like, you know, once you're born, you get handed an iPhone, and then, you know, you're taught to slide the thing before you can say the word hi, dad. So, anyway, I just got my phone. It was a giant privilege. It was one of these crappy ass flip phones, you know, from Verizon. It was like a red VCast thing. I don't even know what it was, but it was some crappy ass phone. That back then was cool because it had like an MP3 player on it. You were like, yeah, man, I could jam out with this shit. So anyway, I had this phone, and she apparently knew I had a phone, I guess. But I was talking one day, and I guess she couldn't take it to the point where she was like really furious at me. And she goes, Lee, give me your phone. And I was like, you know, at that time, you know, in high school now, all you hear is put your phone away, stop texting, put your phone away. But back then, when someone says, you know, give me your phone, they were like, what? You know, what is she talking about? And I said, okay, I guess, and I gave her my phone, and she opened up my phone, which I think this is a total violation of, like, having your personal stuff. She took my phone, flipped it open, and called my mom directly, and she made me call my mom, and she gave me the phone, and she said, call your mom in class in front of everyone, and literally tell her what you're doing. And I just took the phone. I'll never forget it because I just took the phone from her. And I was just like, hey, Mom, what's up? She's like, hey, is there any problems? Are you in trouble? Because I don't call in the middle of school. I'm in class. You know, I'm supposed to be learning, I guess. So anyway, I pick up the phone, and she's like, hey, are you okay? Is everything okay? Do I have to pick you up? Are you sick? Or, you know, I'm like, no, Miss G told me to call you, and I'm in class right now. And she goes, well, what do you have to call me about? And I said, well, I mean, I guess I'm being disruptive and I'm talking in class, like she calls you about 100 times. I put her on blast too because I was just sitting. I was in front of her class. She made me call my mom, and obviously I'm like fucking embarrassed, and I don't want to like talk to my mom right now in class. I'm just trying to like be a normal 7th grade kid. So I literally just was like, Mom, I guess I'm talking like disruptively where Mrs. G doesn't like it, and she made me call you. And she goes, oh, okay. And I was like, all right. So I guess that's it. And she's like, let me have the phone. And then she like went outside, and she was talking to my mom on the phone outside on my own cell phone. And I'm just sitting in front of the classroom like, well, this is pretty fucking stupid. I guess I'm just gonna sit here while she has my phone talking to my mother. And my mom didn't care. She just calls all the time and complains about every time I like say hi to someone in the classroom. So she has me back my phone. She goes, you'll be in trouble when you get home. And I never got in trouble. I barely ever got grounded my whole life. I got grounded one time my whole entire life. And I didn't get in trouble. She's like, oh, you'll get in trouble. I guess she was trying to prove a point to like the classroom that she's some badass teacher or something. But she handed me my phone back. She's like, oh, you're going to get in trouble when you get home. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I just sat back down in my spot, and she's like, moving. I was like, no, you already embarrassed me. I'm just not moving. So it was just like having this teacher was like really like aggravating, because I mean it did help me stop from talking in class so much. I mean, I guess I didn't, because in high school I just talked to a bunch of people. Obviously you talk more to people as you grow older and you try to conversate more, but I mean I was really bad when I was a kid. I was just not shut up, and I would just like continuously talk, and it was to the point where, I guess after her class I kind of learned to like, when to talk and when not to talk, because obviously they don't like to be interrupted, and I don't want to call my mom in the middle of class again. So it did teach me kind of a lesson, but I mean, you got to be some asshole kind of teacher to just like, in 7th grade, I'm talking. I'm a 7th grade student. I'm not like some 12th grader that, won't listen to you. It's just the fact I'm 7th grader. I'm not listening to what you're saying. I'm just like, I listen to you, and I understand that you don't want me to talk, so I lower my voice, and then you get mad at me anyway. So anyway, that's my story about this, terrible teacher that just, made me constantly, move around the classroom, and she could just ruin like that class for me. It was like the first class I was ever in a class with my friends, and I talked to them, and we were having a good time, and she just totally ruined the experience for me. And she really made it tough. Like middle school, middle school was a rough time for me, because if you all know me personally, or if you have been with me for a while, I got picked on when I was in middle school. I got picked on when I was in high school, and it was just a tough year. And then on top of that, just not even be able to talk to my own friends, and having to call my mom in the middle of class, like that's another thing they can make fun of me for. So it was just really aggravating, and it was just like, now that I look back on it, it's hilarious. And the whole thing with the, I'm sorry Lee, you're a great student, but I'm going to have to move you, it just made me really, laugh. I mean, to this day I say that as a joke. I say that if I'm getting in trouble or anything like that, and my friends laugh, and we still understand, we still talk about that story, about that class and all the good memories in it. But it was just mainly memories of me being moved and getting yelled at. So anyways, that's my story about, having a really bad teacher. I mean, that's a bad teacher where someone embarrassed me, not a bad teacher as in like didn't teach you anything and didn't do anything. I mean, she didn't really teach me anything either, but she wasn't really that bad in that sense. It was 7th grade, so I hardly remember what she taught us in that class. But that's just, something that embarrassed me within school, that, my teacher actually embarrassed me. So if you have any stories about your teacher embarrassing you, or, making you do something stupid, or moving you around the classroom, or, make you embarrassed at all, comment below. I'd love to hear stories. I read all of your stories on the last My Story commentary, and you guys made me laugh so hard, because some of your stories were hilarious. And I know when you share it, you're looking for a laughing response. Obviously, you're sharing it in goodwill. I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing at your story, because obviously if you're sharing it, it's funny now and you can laugh at it. I wouldn't share stories. I'm sharing personal stories all the time, because who cares? I mean, it's part of my life. It made me who I am. I'm not ashamed of sharing a story with you guys. So let me know what you guys want to see, or hear at least, for the next story. I think I'm going to do either the cell phone one or the best party one, because those are pretty good topics, and the way I got my phone was actually pretty funny, and also my best party was pretty crazy. So anyway, that's all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the story about my terrible teacher and how I got in trouble, and a little bit about my past of being a talkative student. But anyways, that's all, guys. I am officially done with this video, and I will talk to you guys on Friday, I believe. No, I will talk to you guys on Thursday with the Trifecta podcast, the episode 3. If you haven't seen that, make sure you check it out. We have 2 episodes out already, and it's going pretty well. You guys are enjoying it, so I hope you guys enjoy the next podcast. I hope you guys enjoy Fun Stuff Friday. I don't know what I'm going to do, but you guys liked the freestyle one before. It's not going to be a freestyle, but I think I've got some special plans with one of my friends, and that's about it. So I'll talk to you guys soon. A new rap battle is in the works, so I'm not promising any dates yet, but when I promise a date, it's official, because I always deliver on time. But that's what I'm doing, and I'm working on one right now, and it'll probably be good, because I like the concept in this one. But anyways, that's all, guys, so I'll talk to you in the next one. Have a great Monday.